We just came back from a series of security trade show meeting with the Ubiquiti staff to understand what's coming up next. And now you might be wondering why we're not in our studio and we're standing on a farm. Well, this is one of the case studies that was mentioned to us by different distributors, that using the Ubiquiti cameras, they're able to monitor such farms. Not only because it has all the advanced analytics that you need, so being able to see a person, recognize faces, vehicles, but also because of animal detection. So they're able to monitor their livestock, horses, and any kind of animal they have on their farm. So for the big release of the AI PTZ from UniFi, so we're talking their first advanced AI PTZ camera, you can see it over my shoulder right here. We decided to do a temporary install to see how it works on such environment to understand it better. And now we will also see that if you look a little bit further up, this farm already has PTZ cameras, but without AI. So showing the difference between a powerful camera like the new AI PTZ versus older ones, what the technology can bring to such case studies and how it can work to monitor your site. All right, let's get to it. Starting with the specs of the AI PTZ, it has a 22x optical zoom. So the big difference when we're talking about optical zoom versus digital zoom is then when you zoom in with digital zoom, so with other cameras, you can see that it affects the resolution. But this one, optical zoom, means that you can zoom in 22 times and the resolution stays crisp. And especially when we're looking at the AI PTZ that has a 4K resolution with 30 FPS. So when you're monitoring such environments such as a farm, so right now we're about 200 feet from the camera and you're still able to catch a great image of what's going on with the horses right behind us. Next step, as we discussed, is the first PTZ camera with advanced analytics. So we're talking person detection, car detection, animal detection, but also face recognition, license plate recognition. And paired with a PTZ, you can turn on auto tracking. So this means that if someone starts walking around, so if I walk towards this side, well, the camera can follow me and follow all my movements. So again, when you're monitoring a farm like this one and there's an intruder that comes on your farm, where a PTZ camera can capture this person and follow along where this person is going, so you're able to monitor the whole situation and make sure nothing bad happens, which is different when you consider a fixed camera that just stays on a set point. Next, the accessories that comes with it, and this is a big step up from the predecessor. You have a wall mount, you have a pole mount, and you even have a stand desk that you can install, so if you want to do indoor monitor with this camera. And don't worry guys, you're still on Pipl Systems channel, you're not following National Geographic, we're not gonna start feeding the horses, it's just such a nice view, right? But again, when we're talking about the specs, there's also IR detection, so for the infrared when night comes dark, and especially in such environment where you don't have any lights, so it's complete pitch dark. But with this camera, you have up to 100 meters, so this is 358 feet of IR range. So you're able to monitor pretty much the whole size of this farm without any problem, even during nighttime, which is absolutely fantastic with such installation. Now, I understand many people can be intimidated by installing a PTZ camera. And it's big, it's rotating, where do you start? But that's where UniFi made it simple for you. Everything comes inside the box. The brackets are sturdy, all the screws are there, and as you can see, really easy to do. But there are some considerations to keep in mind when you're installing a PTZ camera. First off, it's about the 360 endless rotation. So a PTZ camera like this one can turn on itself and do a full circle. So when you do an installation, make sure you're not close to a wall. And this is the difference between a fixed camera and this one, is that you want to be able to auto track someone, so to follow them wherever they go. So if you have a wall on the left or on the right, well, it will obstruct the field of view of your camera. And with a PTZ camera, you want to have as much angle as you can. The next step is about vibration. What I mean by this is that if you do a pole installation, because it's mostly true in that situation, make sure it's a sturdy pole. The reason is, again, it's a big camera, it can be heavy, but it's also because it's moving a lot. So if the pole is not sturdy enough, well, it can move a little bit and then the monitoring will be affected. You won't be able to really see what's going on in the image because of all this vibration. And last but not least, especially with this one again, because it's a 4K resolution, you have 22x optical zoom, make sure you install it high enough. In our case, we installed it in a temporary install, but as you can see on the roof, there's another camera, another PTZ that is way higher, and this is what you're looking for. Because again, you want to be able to use all these angles and mostly the zoom. So the higher you're at, the more zoom you can do, and you can actually use the optical zoom to your advantage. Think of it as if you are standing at the place of the camera. So the higher you are, with your eyes, you're able to have this horizon view and focus on different details. So now looking at the demo, we have a lot to unpack because again, this camera is just, there's so many things. So let's start with the 22x optical zoom paired with the 4K resolution. So here we have a playback, and what I wanted to show you is that, for example, you have a bunch of cars over there, you're not able to see the license plate. But using the 22x optical zoom, when you zoom in, you're not losing the quality of the image. So as you can see, we're really far. I'm gonna pause here, and you're actually able to catch the license plate in a crisp resolution, so you're not missing any information there. Now we're gonna jump to the other car to see it as well. Even here, the little details that you see on the container, you're able to read them from afar, and that's the power of optical zoom. So it's not something to, it's not really even comparable to digital zoom, because as you can see, you're not losing anything there. And a nice thing about using such PTZ, so with the AI PTZ, you also have auto tracking and auto zoom. So I'm gonna jump to another scene right here where I'm able to show you. So what does that mean is that if the camera detects a person, well, the camera will jump to that person and zoom in automatically. So you don't have to do nothing. So it's not, you're still monitoring from a view, but when there's an action taking place, the camera is doing the heavy lifting. So as we can see here on the screen, Oleg is on the right, sorry, on the left, and the camera, as soon as it sees Oleg, it just zooms in on him and starts tracking him. So now Oleg is walking towards the farm. You can see there's the face recognition as well going on. And the closer you will get to the camera, the closer the camera will also zoom in on him. So that means that, as I was saying, when you're monitoring a site, well, the camera is doing the heavy lifting. So an intruder comes, the camera will follow him wherever he goes in all the field of view of the camera. And again, this is an endless 360-degree panoramic camera. So there's no real limitation. Now, the one we installed, we gave it a 180 degrees, so it will follow you from all the angles you're going. So as we can see here, Oleg getting closer and closer to the camera, and see he's waving still, and the camera just keeps that angle, so we're able to see the full body of the intruder. And now, next, what I want to talk about is about this advanced analytics. So we're gonna jump back to the UniFi Protect platform. So on here, we have our AI PTZ, and on the left, you have different options. So let's start with facial recognition. So this is the two things, right? Facial recognition, and you also have license plate recognition that you can activate on your camera when it has advanced analytics. So if I click on person right here, as you can see, lots of clips from what was happening during the shooting of this video. And if I click on faces, well, you have different folder of the different people that were in front of the camera. And this is something you can do as well. So if the camera catch an odd angle of your face, well, it might appear that someone else, but on the top right, you're able to merge the faces to make the camera understand that it is the same person. So it will go on the same folder. Now, we're gonna click on Oleg, and if we click here, well, as you can see, it is the Oleg we just saw a little bit earlier walking towards the horse. So again, the footage has been instantly recorded and you're able to track back the action of an intruder. So this is the power of the advanced analytics when we're looking at facial recognition. But you also have the LPR. So similarly, when you go in vehicles to the left side of your interface, so we click on there, we click on license plate, you have one that was captured right here. So if we click on here, the clip will appear as well. We're able to see the car. So let's give it a little time to zoom in, and we see Oleg again driving away in that car. So even if it was an odd angle, you can see on another screen that the camera was actually able to see the license plate and being able to capture it and just record this footage. Now, it doesn't do auto tracking. This is just me showing how smooth it is to control such PTZ camera. So you can either do mouse control or using your keyboard, but again, the process is super easy. But the reason we filmed on a farm again is because we wanted to show you animals. So when you go on find anything, so clicking again on the left side of your interface, you have a bunch of detections. For us, we're gonna focus on animals, but you have vehicle, person. Here you can also look at the face detected. You can also look at the type of vehicles and color that was detected here, and even the different license plate. So as we discussed earlier, if I click license plate detected, this car will appear. And if I click on animals, where a bunch of different animals were detected when we were filming. There's this little guy, so when we're shooting right here, you can see him on the bottom right of the corner. So there's no limitation, and that's what we find it fascinating when discussing with different users of Ubiquiti and distributors when they were talking about farms. And we can see it in action here that because of the animal detection, yes, but also because of the AI you can use, because these animals, they're precious, right? So for example, here, if I click on this horse, let's say there's a hole on the fence. So I'm monitoring this area specifically, but if there's a hole and the horse just decides to run off, like how can I track it? And using the AI PTZ, well, this is something you can do. And especially using a PTZ because you cover such a large area. And in this case, the solution is creating a smart motion zone. So for example, the horse runs like so, and then there's a hole in the fence. Because again, as you remember, now we're zoomed in. If we look here, as you can see, the horse is actually really far away from the actual camera. So we're gonna zoom out so you're able to better understand the situation. But what we can do is create a motion zone that will cover this whole area here. And this way, when the horse exceeds the area, well, we're able to receive a notification that, well, there's an event detected. And then you can go look and you can see that a horse is missing. And again, talking about the power of the PTZ, this is actually something I want to show you. So if we go on a live view right now, so we also see the IR in action, so because it is nighttime right now. The fact that when you receive a notification, normally using a fixed camera, well, you're focusing on something. So if something is missing, okay, but is it still there? Is it somewhere else? I'm just not able to see it. But using a PTZ camera, for example, I will turn on the mouse control, I can monitor by myself. So if an event occurs, I can click here and just navigate through the scene to try and find the subject. So I don't need to go to my different camera and try to understand the situation. With this one, I can just really navigate around. I can even use my keyboard for another smooth transition, so using the different arrows there, and I'm able to patrol the scene. And this is some specific things you can do with a PTZ camera. So for example, here I mentioned the smart zone. So this is something you would draw to be able to capture this specific zone for an event. And using a smart zone, well, you can choose a detection type. In our case, it would only be animals, but you can do it for face, person, and vehicle as well, and loitering. So now what I wanted to show you is presets and patrols. So this is something you have inside your PTZ as well. So going on the top here, we have presets. Presets are some settings you configure inside your PTZ so it can go back to this position. So if I click on 1 right now, it will jump to the first position. On 2, well, it jumps to the second positions, and on 3 to the third one. So I'm able to monitor the different sites where there is normally animals, and I'm able to actually see what's happening on there. And if I want to, I can even create a patrol. So clicking patrol here, I click on patrol, and every 10 seconds, the camera by itself will jump from location to location. So I'm able to monitor the whole area. And as I was saying, by creating a smart zone in this specific situation, I'm able to understand whether the animal left and is nowhere to be found, or if, well, using the PTZ, I just navigate around and he's maybe nearby still. So there's no need to be alerted. And that's something that is really nice because you can also use your mobile phone. So using the Protect mobile app, you can use the control of the PTZ to navigate around. So if you're not there, so you're not able to go out and see in person what's happening, you can actually move side by side the PTZ camera, go up, zoom. As we can see here, actually I'm gonna pause. We have some action happening. So if I use the PTZ control, I think we have a raccoon on the screen. Let me see if I can zoom in, or if we lost it when I was doing the testing. So we're zooming. I think we lost it. But again, it's a live view, so you guys are seeing all of this live. But see, I'm zooming into the middle of nowhere. I click on 1, and then I'm going back to my first preset. So these presets also work with zoom, so it's not just the position. So if you want to zoom in a particular area, it will do exactly the same thing. And as you can see right now, it's nighttime, so you have the IR range right here. So it's up to 358 feet, so that's 100 meters. You're really able to monitor a lot of space with this. So it's pretty easy again to just see different types of action. And again, guys, using this type of PTZ, mixing it with your other UniFi camera, just making this whole setup just make a more complete case for you to monitor a big area like this farm. So as you can see, this is a do-it-all camera. You're able to do animal detection, face recognition, license plate, car, and even during nighttime, you're still able to monitor your area. And while we did use this in maybe what may seem an unusual scenario, this also applies for big cities. So if you want to install it on a building to monitor parking lot, or even on other solutions that you might find, it will work just great because again, it's a well done AI PTZ camera. And when you tie it inside of the UniFi platform, well, this just, it's a great add-on. So you already have turret camera, you already have a bullet camera. Well, adding to this, being able to do auto tracking and using the optical zoom to your advantage, it just helps you secure your space even better. And guys, this price point, it's at the $1,299. So again, you're saving when you're looking at other competitors, what they offer for this same price point with all the analytics, and not only that, but the hardware itself. So we have a video about the best AI cameras, and this is something we cover. It's not just about the AI, it's about what the hardware is to actually provide you with great AI. Because if you don't have that 4K resolution, if you're not able to zoom in into the picture, how can you really see what's happening on there? So having all these qualities on this camera, you're able to really get that license plate if a car is moving by, get that face recognition if you have a blacklist, whitelist, and are looking for someone suspect. So if he comes on here, you're able to really see that person. It will get picked up on your UniFi Protect, and just straight accuracy when you need to do an investigation. And now the challenge for us is actually, we're going to go back into the farm and convince the owner to replace all his old camera with UniFi, because we believe this solution is perfect for this type of situation. All right guys, I'm Jeremy from Pipl Systems. See you on the next one.